His day Asia 34, the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. Please contact me directly. You very, very greatly appreciate it. Today we're doing Simon Tav Kuf Chav Zayin again. Sif Chavav to Lamed Gimel. Chavav. Shani Ramesh. We learned the mission Nechol Erev on Shnei Kurim Sheichim Shabbos. If the Erev is eaten or lost before Shabbos, before you prepare for Shabbos, and you can't bake and cook Ella in Cain unless the Nishtar Mimeno remains of it. Kazais, at least the Kazais. Even though, according to reasons given, as long as you set the air before Shabbos, before Yom began, it should be effective, even if it's seen Yontav. Because the air Tavshin, who should say Abba Schola Shabbos. Nevertheless, the primary concept there that Tavshin is that's the beginning, preparing Shabbos, and what you do on Yontav itself is the conclusion. Because time was Sif Hey, Zel Lashono, Zel Lashon Erev. That's language of Erev. L'Rabbein Ramak Masad Hashem. It unites the Erev Yontav with the Yontav. Okay, Im Nechol Nevat. So you've got eaten or lost. Hare Ein Haschol Shaklum. There's no beginning of anything. The Pashu the Zel Kshenechal B'nei Baratavshim. So about when the food is lost or eaten. The food meaning the cooked food. Even if the bread is still intact, if the cooked dish got eaten, it's not an Erev. I already mentioned that the Iker is the cooked dish. But Mishnah Berurah has an interesting thing. It says even though the bread is left over, it doesn't help you to bake. Even the baking is contingent on there being something left over to cooked. But if the bread is eaten or lost, and the cooked dish is still intact, it's not a problem. Even there's still time on Erev Yontif, you still have to make another Erev Tavshin with another bread. Ulai the lo chashin lei. Nobody says ulai. Perhaps they're not considered to take a new bread. Came in the Ikor Tavshin is the primary part of the cooked dish. Most times as we wrote. He says in brackets, it sounds like you do. I don't know what. Okay, if you're ready to prepare all needs for Shabbos on Yontif, then you can eat it even before Shabbos. Shabbos, it's properly leave it for the Suda of Shabbos. Ram used to eat in Suda Shlishis, which is of course the last meal of Shabbos. Mishnah to use this bread as one of the two loaves. Mishnah says meaning in the other meals. In other words, he used the loaf as lechem mishnah for Friday night and Shabbos morning, and then ate it at Shabbos Shabbos. And the game Mishnah said mitzvah achat, since one mitzvah is done with it, the eruv. Nachon hasos ba'od mitzvah, it's preferable to do another mitzvah with it. Chav zayin. So if you began making your dough, nechol eruv, and the eruv then got eaten. My gomer also eats. So you can finish that dough. Putting mitzvah tavshil, so you start cooking something. Gomer also tavshil dishes, so you can finish that cooked dish which you started. If you lo meat ate so esha dying, even being put by the fire yet, the cooked dish, but you prepared it to cut it, or to put it in the pot, etc. Time nearly pashut. The reason is simple. We explained the problem before that there's no beginning yet. And here there was a beginning when you began to prepare for Shabbos. Pashu dafi mechin liyontif. Sorry, pashu di mechin liyontif adayin lo achlu. They prepared food for Yontif, and they hadn't yet prepared for Shabbos, but they haven't yet eaten the food on Yontif. But tzurchin Shabbos, they still want to prepare for Shabbos. Nechol even was lost. Yontif al Shabbos. So you prepare for Yontif, eat for Shabbos, because at the time you made it, it was beheter. There was still an Erev. This is made when the time was mutter, when the Erev it was extant. Mashkim l'shen yontif. That which they had in mind to do it for yontif. Ma'abakav, so what? Ain't a kavana self the kavana doesn't negate it. I tell you for vashi yontif, and now they'll cook, they'll bake and cook for yontif. Very long brackets here. Zel kavana sarayvin. Shulchan Aruch Siv Yud Ches. I believe that's the same mashkas of afalo bishel, where they wrote if you bake and then cook huadin lo off of a lo bishel. It's true also if you didn't cook nor bake, or you didn't. Vatas you've cut into zvav harich v'ikshal levush made from running whatever tas right. We don't understand. How much because I don't see you zayin the also laniya chol. You're not allowed to leave it for a weekday. Kavan also b'chai gavna. He means like this. Shabish not to cook for you shave lanicha lechol. You cook also if you cook began cooking for yontif, and you decided you, to leave it for a weekday. It's also you can't macho ra. You can macho ra unless you're improving. You decide to make a big greater delicacy. Because I've seen it tough kuf vav as we've written. The dayish right the zesher kosam the nechal atav shel enim oil. That we should say that if the food is eaten, it doesn't work. It's not effective. The cooked is eaten, it's not effective. Even the shtara pass, even if the bread is still extant. We used to be shari chuvas because they give us shame pnei Yeshua. The son of pass. I ain't chum. Because then the shari chuva argues. He says you can rely on the bread. And he was like the ain't okay. Says Pima the kaimalon because Rabbi Yeshua told me the ochli muvashim avushal. Says no. As Ushami can only cook and bake and cook primarily and perhaps exclusively on the cooked dish. So here, it's not clear. Beduk. Chav ches. Because of Rabbeinu Rabbi Yisrael, see if you test. But he says about Mishlo Erev Mutal Alik Neshul Shabbos. Even so, you didn't make an Erev without light candles for Shabbos. Yeshua seems unforbidden. I can't listen. Also, Meima Rosh. The people forbidden are the Rosh Varan. The Kmosha also Levashal Lefos, just like it's also to cook and to bake. So you're not allowed to light candle. But Matir, those are permitted. Dear Gloria Rabbeinu Beis Yosef, Sibra Godo, Be'Rambam. Beis Yosef first for the Rambam. Shloiska Lokas and Ner Be'er. We didn't mention that you have to mention the lighting candle in the air. Be'emes Ein Zerayah. It's not proof. To say the Chol Malachas Nichos Ba'erev. The old Chol Malachas included in the Erev. She's Kilef Osav Hashem. The baking and cooking is like an overarching category. Below Erev Cloud, Osav Lik, but there's no, they didn't make an Erev raw. It's forbidden to light candles. Reveals 19 near the kind of Rabbeinu Beis Yosef. But I think, says Arukh HaShulchan, I can learn Beis Yosef as correct from a different perspective, different reason. As by Asim Tov Kuf Yudal, we really learn Tov Yudal. Mutalik Afil beyond Tov Sheni Achar Mincha. That's like candles even at Tov Sheni after Mincha. The law Avi can make in the Chol. It's not like preparing for a weekday. From the Tzachlo, it's a shah, because need for that time. Klomar Shetei, but it's a shah. Atzma there, Bishul made that time itself. Biyos Hayom Kol we start because the day is close to ending. Became Kosh Ken Shemuta Alik beyond to Bishul it's a shah. Atzma. It's only a yonti allowed to light for that hour itself. Mela Yishaer. I'm not sure what the Kosh Ken is. I guess we're allowed to light Yontif Sheni after Mincha. You're certainly allowed to light on Yontif where it's not going to be weekday that night. Anyway, I'm not sure. But also Shlatza for that time itself. Mele Shalom Shabbos, it'll be left over for Shabbos. Can't just light the Ikar. I think that's the primary of looking at. But Shabbos says some people are lenient, like the first opinion, to light whatever you want. But it's preferably that you should be makna your candles to other people and they should light. Or you should just make do with the minimum amount, which is one candle. It says Shulchan, however. What about someone wants to light a lot of candles? Even Shum Shemadli Neosarbe Milcham Chos Piyoto. Who can protest is lighting lots of candles? Son of us show when he wants that time. You're Arbeneos to have illumination, lots of candles. Even Shum there Shabbos Harry Muchach Lat Ligum Kodim Ashkia. I lighting before sunset. Shadan Yom Gomgor. Complete daytime. As the sun is setting. And well, even after Shkia, until it is total nightfall, I guess it's still considered to be Yontif. You can light for that time. Chavtas Mishlo, I mean, you can't light then because it's something Shabbos, but light before, is for that. It's okay. It's necessary for that time. I guess that's what he means. Chavtes, Mishalo Erev, somebody didn't make an Erev. Shem Shos Bash Latzma, just like can't cook for himself. Kachos Bash Lachem can't cook for other people as well. Shmuel says that your wife and your children who are part of your Eruv, even if you were Mazaka to them by another person, they still can't work for you. In terms of your Jewish servant, even though he eats or she eats from her own food, it's not clear if she's considered to be a part and parcel of the Eruv. Okay, so again, this is going to be the different beginning of the Chavtes. Mishlo Yerev, so I didn't make an Eruv. Shem Shos Vasha, just like can't cook for himself. Kachos Vasha, can't cook for others. Like by base, so goes on saying his own house. They can't do it. Shemru Shemuto Vasha below Eruv. You're going to say it's okay to cook without having an Eruv. Osam Shodim Shlo Eruv, those people know you didn't make the Eruv. They don't know he's cooking for other people. Feel base even the other people's houses, us is forbidden. This is worse than even base than his own house. The Royim Shem Vavasha me base some those that see him cooking in the house. Lo allow datam Shem Vavasha Bishvil Baal Bai. He says that. Not gonna think he's cooking for that Baal Boss, although I'm not sure why not. But amen. I guess it's not the default assumption. I'll be sure they're gonna think he's cooking for himself. He is brewing. They're going to think should be nation, lo rave. Also, the bashal base, and they'll come with this idea. Okay, they make it. So he can't cook in his own house. Base mutter. In other house he can. It's not true. So it causes a stumbling block. Other people can't cook for him. With his own stuff. So there's no takana except she tain matana kimcho tavshilav la'acherim. He should give his flour and his cooked cooked dishes to others. The Yeshirva who made an Erev. Now Aseh Shkir becomes like theirs. Mofim Bashim Lo, they bake and cook for him. Feel bebeso, and even in his own house. The Ray Yavin, other people, the people see, they'll understand. Not sure how, but the Shachem belongs to other people. Loke Malin Basho Beso. Otherwise, what are these people doing cooking in his house? Hakina Yebim Shicha. The kingdom by which you give it to them is Mashiach by them pulling the stuff. Okay, it's not by making a handkerchief exchange. Maybe a handkerchief and you give me ownership. The handkerchief is symbolic, of course, of Khalifah. Loki and Suda, not with the handkerchief kinin. The Mexico because that looks like a weekday activity. I think is another going to shame Cholim, Lavashel, Harbe, Bos, or Gederim Shlahem. They cook a lot in their own pot. You give it to him. After him, they give it back to him. They're achas mutter. Oh, so no, they're cooking one big pot for themselves and him. That's okay. Okay, so he's saying. Because mutter basha arbek much time to sim and tough kuf gimel. Okay, that's okay to cook like Marav Shun. Lamab. Isak Marav Gemara says Mishloi niach erev tavshilin, so we not leave erev tavshilin. Ofilo pas achas. Pay for him one loaf. And he would cook for him one dish. Malikin, and he lights some candles for him. It sounds like other people do it for him. Flo, not he himself. I would accept the Yishayim board the head of the Gamu Batzmayach Olasos. Yishayim say he himself can do it when the raw material belongs to somebody else. And that which it says here, that you have to curtail the amount you make. It's like when it's members of his household. And Pasku, Chen Pasku Resh Iran, but Tur B'Shalom Arach. Arif, Rambam, Ishmitu Zev Lo Datamon, left the Arif Rambam left this all out. Bracket says here, I'm B'Yisesh Kasa Pasku Rava. They say Pasku Rava. I'm known the Rava Poli Al Din Zan. We know Rava argues on this halacha. Bilkor Abel saying the Pasku Zalach. They all pass in this way. What can you do? As those who say it's only in case we can't find other people to mark their flour. Gamzel or Nira. It's also not clear. The great authorities have ruled accordingly. Mishnah says that somebody who's makel has on what to rely. But it's appropriate to be makna the flour to other people, and they should be able to bake for you. Lechem Mishnah. Back to Arukh HaShulchan. The chok they chayvi tiyu rabbanon. Came in the mean turn with the gamre. Anything which is for your own necessity, you're allowed to cook still, because since you're permitted altogether, so there's only a dinner rabbanon. Mr. Shatun adds that it seems that the shear is what he requires for his food for the whole Shabbos, and what he requires in his pot. You don't have to go stingy. The Kenya Mitzvah Mitzvah guy says Midorites and Mitzvah altogether. Imishum the Tzorchei Shabbos Nasim B'Yontiv, whether because the needs of Shabbos don't Yontiv, and B'Tama the oil because guests might come. Kosh Tam the Reish Simon. Lama base. Near the Kasser Rabbeinu Ramah the Ramah writes. Diminiach Erev Elois Kam Lachos Badge. If you left the Erev and not, you put down the Erev and not explicitly mentioned Lachos. Lamar, he said, B'dain with this, yeah, Charlotte Lana Meba Kotzah Chana, which you have to do everything you want. Have a Kami Shalev Cloud. Specifically, you have to specify. I go Shono. Prakasam says Sivchav Gimel Vashatvarim and move on. What's the Sivchav Gimel? We said that we don't understand why it should be that way. Shabbos says, I'll tell you why it has to be that way. Because as Chachamim, they should specify the Melachos. But Arukh HaShulchan does not see it that way. He says, "Va'isi mishe tama alav." It's something standard of him. Avush kasar atam mishum the lush the masha sherotza as kam malachos kam b'chov ze'efshar. It's like a paradox. How can you say it's just to be matim malachos? The main malachos that remain also. So when the formula is flawed. V'gam zeh tumah, but Arukh HaShulchan gets this well, rejects as well. Do atav shul mochiach aloi. The cook, she's cooking. It's clear. He's cooking. It's clearly for Shabbos. V'yeshu kosab to those who said that ikar the main thing is amiras b'hadein. Say with this, the shivara mana yav Shabbos. So you should designate a good portion of Shabbos. V'gam again, it's more branca and move on. Understand this? So Anakaimla, we believe. We hold that Ikar Atam Shlo Yizazu Yontif. The primary reason that you shouldn't make a mockery of Yontif. Of course, for the Mar Ba'adem, besides he has said Ba'adem, which nullifies all the chametz. V'chimim Neish Lo Amar Lafli B'Shloi. Just because he left out those specific activities. I don't even fun. What difference to make? I don't even fun. He has the air in front of him to remind him. It's going to choose a good portion of Shabbos. Zen your halacha she'ein lasos bracha acheres. You should not make another bracha, even if you're repeating them the second time, or to specify the malachos. Don't make another bracha. El yomar ba'adin, just say the hadin anuscha so the formula as it is properly written. If you call your Erev Yontif, the whole day of Erev Yontif passed. But he can say he didn't fix this, but that's also have to take into account those forbidden. Like those and he should have to sell his flour, bestow ownership of his flour to others. Brackets says, "Vulai iyavshar kain im iyavshar it's possible you can't be marked in the flour. Yesh small shas al in difficult circumstances on the Taz be vashel Shabbos and cook for Shabbos to be rabbanon. Yesh lakel b'shas al It's rabbinic halacha to be lenient at a time when you are under pressure. Shmuel says, writes this as well. He has to remember Yontav Rishon, which falls on Thursday. You should make an eruv and be masna. Make a sign. In other words, if today's weekday, it should work today. If tomorrow's weekday, it should work tomorrow. So one of those lines. Lama Gimel. Okasav, he also writes that Mishmisan beyond some who's fasting on him, also Bashlachem, can't cook for other people. If you talk about Yom, even for things that's for that day. Tavi can be Shalin Yecherev. Shem Bashlachem. In fact, you're not eating beans. It's like you didn't put down an Erev. Interesting. Kamali Yonah Shchaber Shabbos. Yonah comes out Erev Shabbos, Mishlo Erev, also Bashal Shabbos, somebody didn't make it Erev. He's also to cook on Shabbos, for the Shabbos, Gam Logan, both for others and for him. So to b'chol yontiv shantori tira and every yontiv where the Torah permitted. Asher achil nefesh, ochel nefesh, whatever anybody can use. This person, therefore, he's fasting. You don't. Nobody's cook for him. Also, you can't cook for people as well. Melakam beyond the Erev Shabbos. So it comes out also. You have to go to Erev Shabbos. Afilu hiniach Erev Tavshilin, even left Erev Tavshilin. Also, Bashal al Shabbos. Yeah. Since he's fasting, you can't. Mishabura says that his members of his household, others can bake and cook with his stuff. The flour doesn't become usher just because you didn't make an error. Okay, it says Arukh HaShulchan. Main reason is mutter is because of hoil. Catch my come. The area also of Asher beyond Ushlacher. But if he holds you're not allowed to be a cook any other for others, so what good is it going to do? Because we have a difficult name of hoil boy Mitchell in the maybe he matter is netter altogether. Okay. He matter is netter on fasting. Yeah, he could. And all of it could have been about the netter. But we say put your money where your mouth is. We're not going to give you a ki'ilu on this one. And even if she's a servant, she's fasting, she's not allowed to do the cooking, Erev Tavshilin or not.